Rights organizations, Afghan activists and diaspora communities are intensifying appeals for international intervention as reports continue to document systematic repression of women under Taliban rule amid UN warnings of service cuts for women due to funding shortfalls. More details in this report.
Women's rights advocates and Afghan diaspora networks are intensifying pressure on the international community to address what they describe as a deepening humanitarian crisis facing women and girls in Afghanistan. Nearly 4 years after the Taliban regained power, rights groups warn that Afghan women remain subjected to some of the world's most restrictive policies affecting every aspect of public and private life. According to Human Rights Watch, women face sweeping bans on secondary and higher education, severe limitations on employment, restrictions on movement, and the dismantling of legal protections and institutions. The organisation also reports repeated cases of harassment, arbitrary detention, and intimidation of women's rights activists. Despite the risks, protests continue inside Afghanistan, often carried out quietly in small groups or through symbolic acts. In exile, however, Afghan women have taken their demonstrations to public arenas across Europe and beyond. In a recent joint statement, civil society organisations described the situation as an unfolding humanitarian emergency. According to the Afghanistan's women's news agencies, these groups are demanding global recognition of systematic gender-based oppression, urgent support for displaced Afghan women and girls in the region, and concrete diplomatic pressure on Taliban authorities. The UN says organisations supporting women in Afghanistan have lost major funding this year, leaving essential protection services strained as restrictions and violence intensify. Meanwhile, UN Women warn that Afghanistan women organisations are facing a sharp funding shortfall even as gender-based violence rises. The agency said women's groups have received less than 60% of the money needed this year, forcing shelters and service providers to reduce operations despite higher demand for support. Reports of violence against women have climbed by 40% in the past 2 years, while access to legal protection remains limited due to Taliban rules on movement, work, and education. UN Women urged donors to restore financial support, warning that further cuts could shut down life-saving services for women across Afghanistan. Humanitarian agencies caution that without swift donor support, vital shelters, legal aid systems, and psychological services could collapse, leaving vulnerable women with no safe options.